Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Mind Your Business Show. I am your host, Milt Walker, joined today by none other than Tony Calloway, the private money Godfather. How are you today, sir?
Maestro, what a beautiful day it is here in Columbus, Georgia. Folks, I tell you what, you have not lived until you come to Columbus, Georgia. I invite you to come. I'll show you around if that's what you want me to do. But yes, it's a great crisp fall morning, and man, I'm just enjoying looking outside. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for making the Mind Your Business Show an important part of your Saturday and an important part of your life, because we got a great guest with some very valuable information I want to introduce in just a moment. But as I'm always so courteous, we wouldn't be here if it weren't for the maestro getting us on here with all his techno wizardry. So I got to tell you, if you need to get your technology right, you need to contact him at Silver Lining Consulting LLC, because as you're seeing me now, if you see our website, privatemoneysyndicate.com, that's his work, and he's amazing. So, Maestro, how are you doing this Saturday morning?
I'm doing pretty good. Tony. I'm enjoying this beautiful fall weather we've been having and I'm just really excited about everything that's coming to fruition. I'm excited about the 10,000 Dreams Challenge that's
Yes,
still
sir.
going on. I had some people who signed up reach out to me, and we've been working and formulating some plans to get them going. And I'm just really excited about everything. So, how about yourself?
Hey, wonderful. And one of the greatest things is the guest that we have today. Let me go ahead and introduce Dennis Edwards with Timeshare Owners Justice. How you doing this morning, Dennis?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Well, now it's really early where Dennis is. He's on Pacific time. so
Right. I'm wondering what you're talking about. A brisk fall morning. It's going to be 80 today.
Oh, wow. That's right. Well, as you introduce yourself, you can tell everybody where you are. But Dennis and I have known each other for, I was figuring as I was driving to the office this morning, about 7 years. And this is the first time we've ever seen each other's face other than a picture. But he's a wonderful gentleman, and he is here today to talk to you about timeshare ownership, some of the pros, cons, things to look out for, and how timeshare owners justice can help you if you feel that somebody has done you wrong as far as any timeshare involvement that you have. But Dennis, how about helping our viewers to get to know a little bit about you as we get things underway this morning?
Certainly. Good morning, folks. I'm Dennis Edwards. I wish that I had known about Maestro a little bit earlier, because I have a technical issue with the green screen behind me. I'm at my home office today, and unfortunately, we've got just the green background, but it's about the content, guys. It's not about what it looks like behind me. So I'm going to try and give you some good information today that will help people, that will inform people, and give them, some good direction. So my background, I was a professional musician. That was kind of my calling. I was in a couple different major label acts. I remember a pretty big show out in Georgia called Music Midtown. We played the main stage of that when we were on the radio. That was a few years ago, but that ended. I was a singer and the songwriter. The kids came, and then I was working in the music business for a while, but I somehow got into the mortgage business and finance. And so that's how I kind of got, transitioned out of, a different type of lifestyle. And loan officer, then I was an account executive. I worked through all of the, the boom and then the recession.
Right.
And during that time, did some work with some law firms, helping, with loss mitigation with homeowners who were struggling, and also kind of got into recruiting. And, through that law firm background, we developed some strategies of how to help consumers, and, actually started a law firm with an attorney called Consumer Defense Law Group, trying to help people with, a variety of different options: eviction defense, foreclosures, insurance, employment, unemployment, stuff like that. Just those types of basic industries. So I have some knowledge and background in that. Tony and I met. I got into business financing a few years ago. Didn't know that much about it. Obviously, you're the private money godfather, so you do know a lot about it. But
Thank you.
that's how that's how we met was, when I worked for KVC Group or National Credit Partners, trying to help business owners who are in trouble, either kind of restructure their business financing or help them obtain new and better financing. And so I did that for a number of years. And when COVID hit, it kind of, changed business financing. A lot of it kind of disappeared for a while. And in that same time frame, something really interesting happened. One of the guys that I used to work with, he moved back home to Colorado, and he happened to notice all these bills on his mother's, desk. And he didn't understand, what do you mean I thought you had one timeshare. Now you have two timeshares and you're paying this other. So the story is, the owner of our company's mother had a timeshare. She enjoyed it. She used it for 4 or 5 years, and then she started getting older, was starting to have some issues, with traveling, and started to have some memory deficit. And so she wanted to get out of it. And so she started contacting the developer, asking to be released from the timeshare. And they said, you know what, if you want to be released, why don't you come down, and, come to the property here in Arizona, and, we'll talk with you about how to get out of it. And at the time, she had one timeshare. She owed about $20,000 on it. And she had used it like once a year for 4 years. So she went down to the presentation, told them what she wanted to do. I want to get out of my timeshare. What happened is they sold her a second timeshare. They convinced her and pressured her and told her the easiest way to get out of her first timeshare is to buy a second one. Obviously, that doesn't make any sense. 3 weeks later, and this is 3 weeks later, she called the company again to talk to them about getting out of the first timeshare. They called her back and told her the best way to get out of the first timeshare was to upgrade. So instead of getting out of the first timeshare, presenting options, they sold her a more expensive one. So she had owed $20,000 on the first one, and then she bought a second one for about $25,000. And then she got upgraded on the first one. Now she owed $65,000 on the first one. So now she has about $85,000 in 2 timeshares. This happened 3 weeks after, she was sold the second one. Then she contacted the group that gave her the second one and said, I need to get out of these timeshares. And they said, come back down to Arizona. We'll get you out. Come down. We'll give you a free $100 gift certificate. So they went. They admit they're gullible. Okay. But there's a lot of people that, they want a free vacation. Oh yeah, it'll be great. But they force you to sit in this meeting. And at the meeting,
I've heard of
they
those.
didn't get them out. They upgraded them a second time. So within 6 weeks, she bought a new timeshare, upgraded her first timeshare, and then upgraded her second timeshare. And she went from owing $20,000 to owing $97,000.
Wow.
Next, she got contact. Next, about 6 weeks later, she found a timeshare exit company that promised they would get her out of both timeshares. She agreed to work with them and sent and ACH them $22,000. $22,000. And about a month later, absolutely nothing had happened. And this is when the owner of our company found all these bills. And he's like, excuse my language, guys, what the hell is going on? What is this? And so he started digging into it. He got myself and a couple other people, that had been involved at the other law firm, as well as an attorney. And we started looking into it, because I don't have a long background in timeshares. I've gone to timeshare presentations and they're very pushy and annoying, but I wanted the free gift card or the free dinner. So I put up with it, but you have to be strong to resist them.
Oh yeah.
They try to excite you about what a great life you'll have with all these vacations. And they try to pressure you and make you feel bad if you don't. I remember one of them I went to, you don't have $15. That's all we need is $15 to get started today. I'm like, no, I don't. So anyway,
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's not the
so
$15 that's the problem. It's the other 20,000 on the other end of this.
so we started digging in and doing the research. And so we went to the timeshare exit company and we did some searching. We found out that they'd been in trouble with, the BBB, and they'd changed their name a few times. And so we were able to, kind of get to the owner and pressure him and say, we're going to do X, Y, and Z if you don't refund my mother's money. She's a senior citizen. She's suffering from dementia. This is a borderline criminal action. We got the money back. We got all of her money ACH back to her, $22,000. Then we went after the timeshares, and it's one of the biggest developers, and the second one that was sold to her was a sister company of the biggest developer. And so we quickly and efficiently just put the full court press on them. And we're able to get her released from both of the timeshares permanently and legally without ever paying another cent.
Wow.
And we did it rather quickly. And while going through the process, the owner, who's, a friend of mine, is like, he was going online. He's like, there's so many people that are angry about their timeshare and that have gotten screwed. Excuse my language again. That are mad at timeshare exit companies, but also mad at the timeshare companies. And he's like, we could help people. And that's how our company was born.
Wow.
We didn't think, what's a good vertical for us to go into? Where's the market going? When business loans are bad, we just kind of fell into it. And then we had the real world experience of helping his mother. And then, we spent some time just, doing some test cases, getting things up to speed, meeting with attorneys and this and that. And so that's how Timeshare Owner Justice was born. That's how we got into this. We're a relatively new company, even though we have a lot of experience, in helping, consumers. We've been, in existence for about a year and a half. I don't know that I'm an expert about timeshares, but I know how they work and I can explain to people, and I can also explain what we do and how we can help people get out.
Wow. Well, we definitely want to hear all of that as we enjoy. I mean, I was just shaking my head at it's the happy ending that everybody likes, right? But it's amazing how these things can get people trapped.
Yeah,
Before
escalate.
we get more into the discussion of timeshare owners justice, I want to ask Maestro, who do we have who's tuned in? And let's do some acknowledgments and some shout outs this morning.
Absolutely. We got Satish VM Satman joining us this morning. He says, top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you too, sir. Bobby Jean Ford is joining us, one of our 10,000 Dreams participants. Welcome. Good morning, she says, everyone. Faye Cole is joining us, and she's feeling loved. She says, good morning, everyone.
Awesome.
Satish has a question. He says, did the process affect her credit? That's a good question.
So
were you able to rectify that issue too?
So once the owner realized what was happening to his mom, he told her to stop paying before we ever did anything. And they started the collection process. And as part of, our service, we demanded that any negative credit reporting be corrected. And so it did not affect her credit. She did get collection calls at first, but we have solutions for those that when they do affect your credit, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Technically, if you enter into a contract, and you were deceived, there were deceptive trade practices, there were fraudulent misrepresentations, you have an argument to dispute, a credit report.
Yeah. Okay.
They're reporting you negative. Well, the reason I stopped paying is because they, tricked me, or, it was a bait and switch.
Right.
And so, we can successfully help people that way. But, and then also the other thing is, the clients that we work with, we do have a trusted and accredited credit repair company that, we partner with, that we can provide for clients if, that's what happens. You do not have to stop making payments to the timeshare company for us to successfully exit you from your contract. But some people are so mad when they find out what happened. They are like, why am I paying these guys? His mom was just, like I said, she has some, some deficit issues, and she's just like, oh, I got this bill, I'm going to pay it, and she was just paying it. And we're like, you're paying them like $2,000 a month for nothing,
Mm.
That's crazy. Well, I do want to say this to all the viewers, and if you just came on a little bit late, this is Dennis Edwards with Timeshare Owners Justice, and he is talking about the timeshare industry and what their company does to help people get relief from their timeshare challenges and so forth. So if you have any questions, if you or anybody for example, my youngest brother, he has a timeshare, never heard him complaining about it. But most of us, if we've gone to any resorts, we've been given the opportunity, and maybe some of us have taken that up. And so, Dennis, one of the things I mentioned before we came on the air is I've done some research, and it was surprising for me to discover that timeshare industry is growing significantly. So if you would just take a moment in a short answer and kind of describe to people what a timeshare is, because it's one of those terms that all of us have heard, but there is a very specific definition of what creates a timeshare, as well as, talk about the industry and some of the pros and cons of timeshare ownership.
Okay, certainly. So timeshares are a deeded interest in a property, and the resort industry came up with this idea in the 80s and 90s that, we can sell an interest, like 1 week or 2 days a year. We can sell 1 week to 52 different people, in this property. And that's kind of how the concept was invented. And it was actually a pretty good deal, when it first started in the, 80s and 90s. Maybe into early 2000s, because you were able to exchange your weeks and your time and go to different places that were in their network. So you could buy a timeshare, say in Palm Springs, California, and then instead of using your week in Palm Springs, supposedly you could transfer that and go to Orlando, Florida to go to Disneyland, or maybe pay a little bit extra and go to Hawaii, or go to Australia. And that's the dream that is sold. And there was a need for it pre-internet, because it was hard. You'd have to call, how am I going to book? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? As the rise of the internet came in the early 2000s, all of a sudden you've got, travel websites, Travelocity, Expedia, hotels.com. And now it's much easier to book vacations where you want. And the timeshare industry had to become a little bit, more aggressive in the way that they locked people in. And the way they make their money, guys, is off the maintenance fees. It's not necessarily off the mortgage. So most timeshares are 10-year loans. Let's say you pay $15,000 for the share of the condo, but you're paying a maintenance fee, and it's, let's say it's $800 a year. That maintenance fee goes up, according to the contract, anywhere from 4 to 12% every year. What people don't realize is that it's a lifetime maintenance fee contract. So you buy it when you're 40, you're still paying that when you're 90. Every year it's going up 5%, 8%. 8% is the average. Every year it's going up for the rest of your life. Plus, starting in the 2000s, they started adding a perpetuity clause so that when you pass away, it goes to your heirs. So that's how they make their money, because they're getting guaranteed maintenance fees from 52 different people from every single unit in their place. They also have, and we're going to go over this in the slides later, the ability to hit you with a special assessment. So let's say you've got a property in Myrtle Beach, and unfortunately a hurricane comes and pounds Myrtle Beach, and your resort is damaged. They're going to take the cost of the repairs and they're going to divide it up between all of the timeshare owners, and you cannot contest it. You just have to pay it. So some people, the average is once every 8 years, you're going to get hit with a special assessment. Maybe it's $3,000, maybe it's $500, but you still have to pay it. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, these timeshares are no longer exclusive. So the thing that you're locked into for the rest of your life, some other, person could come on, online and rent the same exact thing for less than what you're paying without the contract, without the maintenance fees, without, it going to their heirs. And that's why it's a trap now. It's not a good deal. So I am surprised to hear the timeshare business is growing.
Yeah.
There's about 9 million timeshare owners in the United States. Last time that I kind of looked at it, about 85% of them aren't that happy with their purchase. That doesn't mean they necessarily want to get out, but they don't work for a lot of people. So it can be great for some people if you're younger and you travel a lot. And I'm not trying to say they're all bad. They're not all bad. But, when people get talked into something or sold a dream that's not true, that's why they need timeshare owner justice, guys.
Wow. Well, let me ask the maestro, do we have any other questions or any analysis before we delve deeper into how timeshare owner justice helps to fix some of these problems that people are encountering?
Yeah. So let's recognize Heather Fisher. She's joining us. She says hello, happy Saturday, everyone. And Darnell Collins is coming in and joining us. He says this is fantastic news. This is a great part. This is great planning for my winter home vacation time. So he's definitely paying attention and making sure that I just want to say, that it's good that people like you are out here that's fighting for people, because it's amazing how people still use these fraudulent practices to try to get over on people. I mean, it's so much opportunity, so much abundance and wealth out here. You don't have to do that, and it only comes back to you in the end. And so, it's one of those things where, I'm just extremely grateful to hear that we have people like you out here fighting for justice for people.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. So Dennis, let me ask this very specific question. I don't know if you would enumerate it, and I know you have some graphics that Maestro might put up to help support what you're going to say, but what are the specific solutions that timeshare owners justice provides timeshare owners and basically people who feel they've been beguiled as far as them, signing the contract and then after the fact really realizing what that contract represented in terms of, I'll say liability on such a dramatic level?
Okay. So that's a great question, and I'm very prepared to answer that. Let's look at the slide so I can kind of back up the last thing I was talking about, and then we'll talk about what we do and what solutions are and how we determine if, it's a case we can help with and, what to look out for, if that's okay. Maestro, can you pull up the slides?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. And then I'll kind of set the table on the previous question. Okay. So when people buy these, the sale, and this kind of goes to your question, the sales reps are commission based. They're very aggressive. Sharks would maybe be the word, but it's kind of like when you buy a car. You go and you get the $100 gift certificate or the meal, or, you can stay here for 5 days for $200, but you have to go to an hour-long presentation. And so at the presentation, they're going to sit you at a table and someone's going to come to you specifically and start kind of beating you down, telling you how great it would be to have this resort, how great it would be. You can go where you want, whenever you want. You can live a life of luxury. You can live a rich person's life, champagne lifestyle on a beer budget type thing. And it only costs this much and it's a great deal and you'll have it for the rest of your life and you can give it to your kids. And, it's like this and that. And they pressure you and they don't disclose a lot of the little things. And so, I had no idea what we're getting into. And so the maintenance fees is the main one. I would say 80% of our clients have no idea the maintenance fees were going to go up every year. It's in the contract. The contract's 35 pages, but it is in the contract, but they don't disclose that. They don't say that, oh yeah, there's a maintenance fee, but yeah, it's only, $500 a year. That's nothing. When you do the math, but they don't say that it goes up, every year.
Yeah.
So the next thing is they make it seem like you can go wherever you want, whenever you want. Complete fallacy. 95% of the people that I talk to, can never go where they want when they want. They tell you it's so easy and they try to book. Oh, well, you can't book on a weekend. Well, I want to go to Vegas. Oh, it's not available. Okay, well, let's try, instead of going at New Year's Eve, let's go in March. Oh, it's not available. Okay, well, let's go in, May. Oh, it's not available. But we do, you can go to Pahrump in Nevada or wherever, and they shove you off into some lesser destination where it's a room in a condo.
Wow.
It's nothing spectacular like they show you in the presentation, these amazing resorts, but that's just not what happens. So, so like, let's say you are able to successfully book a vacation year one. You want to go back year two. Oh, you don't have enough points. You need to upgrade to the platinum plan. You need to spend, another $1,500 on top of what you're paying on the loan and your maintenance fees. If you want to go, you want to go to San Diego, to Rancho Bernardo Inn or wherever. Yeah, you need to, spend another $1,500.
Let me catch you on that point right there. And Dennis has made reference in saying that the industry is growing. There was an article that I read, but one of the things Dennis has said that contribute to this growth is switching to this point system. And I heard you just make some comment about the points. So
right. Yes.
And
so
I see
the
how
point,
that game can be played. Yeah.
Right. So they sell you this interest and you have the deeded interest. It's technically considered a mortgage, but you have points and the points can be used at other places. And that's how they sell you. You want to go to Japan, you can use this and go to Japan, but you can't go to Japan because when you try to sign up, it's not available. And then you don't have enough points. So it's like it's an endless grift. You have to keep upgrading if you want to do something or go somewhere. And that's the problem. And then, and so what I was saying before is with the advent of the internet and Travelocity and Expedia and Airbnb, you can get a less expensive vacation without a timeshare. You can do the same things. You don't get extra access. It's not exclusive. It's not like, it's easy to do. You could get a vacation less expensive without being a timeshare. And so, the people that are being sold now, like I said, the same thing. They're great salespeople. They make a lot of money, but they're making fraudulent misrepresentations in a lot of cases. They're engaging in deceptive trade practices. They're pressuring people, and your 1 hour, presentation turns into 4 or 5, where there's 2 people at a table, making you feel like you're less than if you don't do this. How can you not care enough about your family to want to do this? They play on your emotions, and it's sad. Wow. Because you have to be strong to resist it. And then people do it. And then they're immediately like, oh, why did I do that? And then they try to book their vacation and then they can't. And it's just a downward spiral from there. Special assessment.
Yeah. Well, let's see. We have I have another question I want to ask, but I certainly want to give preference to the audience. If any of those, Maestro, anybody have another question out there?
No. Everybody's just listening right now. They're
okay. Okay. Any new folks joining us?
No, not yet.
Okay. All right. Well, Dennis, let me ask you this. In light of the fact that people have signed a contract, you mentioned that it's 30 some odd pages. I mean, there is the fact that they signed a legal and binding agreement. Now, is there any 3-day right of rescission or anything
there is.
There is now before it sets in? And obviously you guys can help on the backside of that. But let's talk about the fact that there is a legal and binding contract involved in this.
Right. And like I said, I'll get more into that in a minute, but there is a legal and binding contract and this stuff is in there, but they're not disclosing it. They're glossing over it about the maintenance fees. They're glossing over about the special assessment, which is where if something happens at the resort, they want to do maintenance and fix it up and upgrade it. You have to pay it as one of the timeshare owners. And then the last thing is the perpetuity clause, which is the burden on your heirs. So let's switch to the next slide. There is a rescission period. They usually don't tell you about it. You have to look in the fine print to see it. So like we talked about before, it was a perfect system. You used to get a true guaranteed week, and there was a need for a timeshare back then, but now you have to constantly upgrade to get what you want. They're selling more and more intervals. And like I said, there's nothing available. You have to go to VIP, then to VIP Gold, then VIP Platinum. You can go to the next slide. Kind of illustrating what I was talking about.
So go to the next one from this one.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Ernest Milton Maestro. This is kind of again, focusing on what we've already talked about. They sell a certain percentage. This is not an exclusive thing. If you buy a timeshare interest, it's not exclusive. Someone else could go, rent the same exact place you're staying for less. It's not guaranteed. And that's what the timeshare sales guys, it's guaranteed week. It's not. It's very, very difficult to get the time to go where you want, when you want, unless you upgrade. And like I said, Expedia, Travelocity, Priceline. You can go to the next slide. And this is kind of the real cost of ownership. You're only getting a condo room that's not paying for your airfare, your food, your drinks, your entertainment. The maintenance fees increase every year. Special assessment happens on average once every 8 years. You're not going to get return on the money you spent. And this is something we haven't brought up yet. Timeshares, you get a deeded interest. And I guess you could say in the broad sense of the term that it's real estate. And timeshare sales reps try to tell you, you're investing. It's real estate. They're worth nothing. If you go online, you go to eBay, you go to Craigslist, you go to redweek.com, most timeshares are on sale for 1 cent.
Jeez.
And the loan is already paid off. They just want to get out of the maintenance contract.
So in other words, it is transferable though.
It is transferable if someone wants to take on the deed,
right.
But nobody wants to do it. That's why they're on sale for 1 cent. Now, there's some that might be like on Waikiki Beach that you got in at the right time and you have a guaranteed week. Maybe it is worth $5,000, but it sure as heck ain't worth the $50,000 you put into it.
Right.
And there are scam companies that tell you can sell your timeshare for a profit. It's just not true. 99% of them are worth $1 or less or nothing. Some of them have negative value. So again, why do you have a timeshare? Because you were pushed and pressured into something. How does it benefit you? And who does it benefit? It benefits the developer because they have 52 people in that one unit who are all paying a loan, who are all paying maintenance fees for the rest of their life, times 9 million, So, okay, next slide, please. Okay, so let's say the maintenance fee is $1,000 and you had a $14,000 loan here under the mortgage payments and it goes up 8% a year. So if you look at this, over 30 years, you will have spent $131,783 on the timeshare. If you look at what you will have spent over 10 years between maintenance fees and, the mortgage, you're at about $30,000. Is that really worth it? Do you need to spend that much money on the vacation? And so when you really think about it, when you do the math and break it down, it's difficult to stomach.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy.
Yes. And then final slide, Milt. So like I said, it's they're worth nothing and you can just pay for a luxury vacation anywhere without restrictions for less than your timeshare. That's one thing. You can't sell it. What should you do? You can do nothing and pay maintenance fees and assessments for your life. And then it'll go to your children and then your grandchildren who will continue paying for it for the rest of their life. or you can get rid of your timeshare legally and permanently, which brings us back to our esteemed private money Godfather's question.
Well, I certainly, and I'm sure everybody who views this now, and again later, folks, if you're seeing this on Facebook or on YouTube, Dennis Edwards with Timeshare Owners Justice is just giving us a rundown on, you know, all the traps and flaws of what used to be a good deal, but now with, as you just said, Dennis, the advent of the internet and all the many options is ridiculous. It makes, I can't
Right.
rationalize how it can make sense. However, as I said, and I'll repeat it, somehow this industry is growing. And so, Dennis, that means that a lot more people are going to need timeshare owner justice if they don't get forewarned. They're certainly going to need you to help to extract them from the intractable situation that they may find themselves in. So before you continue, I do want to ask Maestro, is anybody else ask any questions, or if he has any questions he wants to ask, and that might just lead us down, you know, deeper into how you guys are able to help people out.
Yeah, so Satish says, I own one, and yes, everything you said in the sales approach and presentation was exactly that. It's an investment in your lifestyle and children's future. He's saying, you know, that's the sales pitch that they tell you. So yeah, so he's just agreeing with you with how they sold it to him. You
Yeah.
know, so yeah. But Satish says he owns one, so hey, Satish, you may want to talk to Dennis. You know, you may want to talk to Dennis.
Are you, you know, is he happy with the investment? You know,
Yeah,
Right. That's the
and
question.
this might be a good time, Maestro, to go ahead and type the website into the chat.
Yeah, I already have. I put it in there at the beginning.
Okay,
It's
cool.
pinned. It's pinned to the comments, so y'all can go and check that out anytime and click on it and go to it. It's already there, so you know.
Wow. Okay.
so
Okay.
back to your question, Tony, and thanks for throwing in the questions. So you're right. It is a contract. It's a legally binding contract. And so if you don't cancel within 3 to 5 days, depending on the state, it's a legally binding contract. And most timeshares refuse to let you out. There's a few that have a certified exit program. If you've paid off the loan, and like you're a senior citizen or you're in some type of hardship, they'll sometimes cut a deal, you know, and say, look, we'll take it back, but you have to pay X amount of money and we'll take it back. But that's rare. That's like 5%. 95% of them, the only way you can get out is you have to fight them. So what we do and how we help people is we first look at who the developer is, and we try to get some background on the situation to determine if we have legitimate grounds for dispute. You know, were there misrepresentations in the presentation? Were there misrepresentations in the true cost of the timeshare? If you're getting a deeded interest and there's a mortgage, there's a truth in lending disclosure. Did they talk about the maintenance fees in your truth in lending disclosure and how much it's going to go up? Was there full disclosure about the constantly increasing maintenance fees, or did somebody tell you, oh, don't worry about that, you know, which is what they usually say, even though it's in the fine print? Did they talk about the special assessments and how that works? You know, did you completely understand the entire contract? Sometimes, you know, when senior citizens purchase, you know, we're able to bring in, you know, statutes regarding elder abuse and, you know, consumer codes and consumer law protections. Were you overpromised that you can stay where you want when you want? Did you go to the property and it wasn't what you expected? You thought it was an ocean view and instead it's a view out the back and there's dirty dishes in the dishwasher. That's an actual client that I have. When you get there and you're paying all this money for it, you're like, what the heck is this? You know, was there maintenance going on when you were there? Were there repairs? Was there, you know, unavailable amenities? You know, what about during coronavirus? Did they make any concessions for you because you couldn't rent or you couldn't use it because it was a, you know, an emergency declaration in that area? You know, these are all things. So we look at all of those things to find legitimate grounds for dispute. We have in-house counsel. We also have relationships with a couple different law firms that specialize in different things in different parts of the country. And we develop, you know, we determine if there's legitimate grounds for dispute that we can take a case on. And then if we, you know, we decide to move forward, we conduct the discovery and research, and we work with the legal team to prepare the case. We use our experience and expertise, and we pressure the timeshare developer with a legal demand. We also take some extra steps with the proprietary strategy, where we get regulatory agencies at the state and federal level involved as well. So it's not just Tony Calloway versus the developer. It's not just Tony Calloway and timeshare owner justice versus the developer. It's not just Tony Calloway, timeshare owner justice, and our attorney versus the developer. We also have state and federal regulators who are looking into what happened. We know the patterns of misrepresentations that occur with certain developers, and we try to tie those patterns together to show a pattern of misconduct and bad behavior by the developers, which means they're liable to possibly be subject to regulatory action and or fines by the regulatory agencies. So we have a strategy where we get them involved and we get them poking around a little bit, which puts just another layer of pressure on, and it forces the developer to be transparent. They're going to drag it out no matter what, but it forces them to be transparent. And so our process is more aggressive and more thorough than any of the other exit companies that I've spoken with, or, because we tried to kind of vet, the way that other companies in the space, what they did. A lot of them, it's simply paralegals and kind of a faceless attorney, and they send out template demand letters. Wow. This is a personalized, aggressive approach with 2 different waves of action. And then we get, if necessary, we get the attorney involved and, ultimately force their hand. And we offer a 100% guarantee. Anyone that we bring on, we guarantee we will get them a full and complete release from their timeshare. So the determining factor, is, are there legitimate grounds for dispute? So if you use it all the time, you're young, they didn't mislead you at all, you used it last month, you make a lot of money, you don't have health issues, it's more difficult. Right. That's somebody, but like, for example, our owner's mother, that was an egregious case. I have a recent client where, they went down to San Antonio for vacation. They're Spanish speakers. Someone flagged them down on the street with a flyer. Hey, come to this thing. You get $100 gift card, and we just want to get your opinions on this new condo we built. All you're going to do is take a survey. 5 hours later, they owned a new timeshare, and every single thing the people told them was a lie. Jeez. And they were acting like they were their friend. Oh, you can go to Cancun, you can go do this, you can go do this, and they're so mad. They had already stopped paying when they came to us because they were so mad. And we have a real good rating. We have an A rating with the Better Business Bureau, and the Better Business Bureau actually referred them to us. And I couldn't believe what these guys said to them and just the lies they told them. And they actually opened up a line of credit with the bank so they could qualify because they didn't have enough money. They had them fill out an application. They didn't say what it was for, but they didn't have enough money for the down payment, which was $3,500. Mm-hmm. They went in the back, didn't tell them, ran their credit and got them approved for a $3,500 line of credit, and came back and said, hey, guess what? You're approved. And they're like, you can buy a timeshare. And then like 3 people surround her. You're approved. You're approved. Oh, congratulations. You can go to Cancun now. You can go to Hawaii. You can do this, and they're, he's a janitor and she's an administrative clerk. They don't make very much money. And, but they just got pressured and sold this dream. And so then a month later, when they automatically debit his account for this line of credit, he's like, what the hell is this?
This is insane.
Even though it's on their contract, but it's like no one's telling. There's just, and so like I said, that's an active case we're working on right now. So if we take on your case, we can get you out, but that's what goes on.
Gotcha. Well, now let me ask a question about you made reference to some of the other companies in the timeshare exit space. Now, how is your process different in terms of, you described your process, but I guess from the value proposition, what they charge, what they do versus what you guys charge, at what you do, because you did state your guarantee, which is awesome. You do vet
Right.
to see if you can take on the case if you see where there's
Right.
an opportunity. But again, other people may have had the negative experiences, but not have discovered you. So help people to understand the difference.
Okay. So when we were trying to help, the owner's mother, we contacted several different exit companies and went through their intake because, we were trying to figure out what they would do and how they could help. And so we talked to probably 5 different places to determine the pricing, the process. And what I found is most of these, there's a sales organization at the timeshare exit company, and all they do is try to sell you for as much money as they can get out of you.
Really?
And then they're going to hand it off to a company, which they call a disposal company. A disposal company.
Wow.
It's a paralegal or it's an attorney, that's just sending out a template demand letter. They're saying that they represent you, but they're not actually going to war for you or going to bat for you. It's just like, it's a slow moving, bicycle ride. We're a bullet train. Ours is specialized. We're going after them. Things are happening within 30 days. We're engaging with the developer. We're on the attack. They know we're there, and within the first 3 months, we're going to have a really good idea of where we stand. Sometimes they will concede and we'll come out. But it's a process. Sometimes it's going to take 6 to 9 months, but we're much more proactive and aggressive. Our proprietary strategy involving the regulatory agencies, no one else is doing that. Other players in the space, there's a company called Wesley Financial that advertises on TV a lot. They charge a lot of money. They're kind of they've got a lot of employees, but we kind of vetted their process. It's the same thing. They're a sales organization. They don't do the work internally. They've got, they outsource it, and same thing, kind of a, paralegal attorney demand letter. This isn't something that you're going to litigate and sue as a rule. There's no companies that say that is their business model. That's not a winning strategy because you don't have enough money to fight these developers.
Right.
For example, Wyndham's a publicly traded company. They're huge, but you do have the ability to pressure them and make them feel pain until eventually they release you from their contract. And what are they losing? They're going to sell it to the next unsuspecting schlub that comes along, unfortunately. So it's not like they're losing everything. They just don't want to lose the maintenance fees. And so that's what I found for our process. We offer discounts for veterans and first responders, and it's on our website. And so, although, I don't want to discount our services, but as a rule, we're a little bit more competitive with the fee structure than a lot of the other companies in the space. And it's a much more thorough, proactive, collaborative service. We talk to a lot of people that are in process with another company, and they're like, I don't know what's going on. What's going on with your exit? Well, I'm not sure. I haven't heard from them for a while. That will never happen with us. You always know what's going on. There's contact, at first, I would say every week. And then as we get into the process, at least every couple weeks or monthly, you're going to be updated as to what's going on and what work's being done, because we're going at it very aggressively. Timeshares try to drag it out. They're slow. They want to drag it out, but so that's what, the kind of the difference is. We do all the work in-house. So we do the front end. We're dealing with the, timeshare owners, telling them what our product is, conducting the interview to see if there's legitimate grounds for dispute. And then the back end process is also handled by us as well. We're not outsourcing it to a disposal company. We have an in-house counsel that's reviewing, the work that is being done and stepping in as needed. But it's not like you need an attorney every step of the way.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, folks, Dennis Edwards with Timeshare Owners Justice has been educating us about the ups, downs, insides, outsides, good, bad, and ugly of the timeshare industry and how their organization helps people to exit their timeshares. Now, Dennis, we've got about 10 to 12 minutes. I want to go back to Maestro, ask if we got any new folks, new questions, or people we can acknowledge here before we kind of hit the home stretch.
Yeah. So Satisha VM Satman says, I've used it 2 times in 7 years. Contract was every other year. I had planned on using it for traveling the globe and bought a second for the even years after paying off the first. But from what you said about the unavailability, I might reconsider. So, that's good information because a lot of people they didn't know, right? Like you said, if you didn't know, it wasn't explained to you about how the whole process worked, that definitely wouldn't be, a good fit for them. Ebony is joining us. She says, good morning, all. I'm out of town. Just wanted to drop in and say happy Saturday. I will catch up a little later. Okay, Ebony, we'll see you on the next one. All right. And that's it for right now.
All right. Fantastic. Well, hey, Dennis, you provide a lot of great information. And folks, the website for timeshare owners, justice.com, the Maestro's put it in the chat. So please
Check it out
or share this with folks who who own timeshares. Now, Dennis, I know, and I'm always one of these kind of balanced perspectives. What if somebody is going on a vacation, they get confronted with the opportunity to get the free meal? I mean, I was in DC and went to a timeshare. I mean, I guess I'm strong-willed enough not to succumb. But what are some things that they should look out for? Or if there is such a thing as a good timeshare, what are some of the things that would make, I say if, that would make that, tell them the qualifications that they should consider. I'll just put it that way.
Okay. So you want to know if it's exclusive, because if it's not, why should you do it? Mm-hmm. So, you need to do this. Well, is it exclusive? Well, no. So someone else could rent the same thing. Yeah, but they don't get the reservation like you do. As an owner, you get priority. Really? Do you have that in writing that as an owner, I get priority? Oh, yeah, sure. Okay, well, let me see it. You can keep them on their heels instead of them being the attack dog by bringing that up. You can say, can you show, I'd like to see a breakdown of the maintenance fee, well, yeah, it's only $800. Okay, well, what can it go up? Oh, it doesn't go up. Okay, can I see that in writing? Without getting to the point of the contract. Am I liable for special assessments? If they say no, that's a complete red flag. Every single person is liable for a special assessment. Can I rent when I want, where I want? They'll tell you that. And I go, okay, well, where does it say that? Because there's disclosures that say it's subject to availability, but, and then say, okay, well, let's see. Let's say that, let's just pull something up and let's try and book a vacation right now. Those are the things, because I have several clients, guys, and the people listening, that they thought it sounded good, but as soon as they tried to book for the first time, they couldn't get it. And it just started a slow burn. Wow. What did we get ourselves into? I tried to book this, like a guy I talked to, he just bought in July. And so he was trying to book this vacation like they promised him. He couldn't get it. So he kept trying and trying, and he wouldn't quit. It was like a year later when he could finally get a reservation. And he's like, what did I do? He's so mad. He's so mad. Okay. And so something I haven't brought up is paying the time, continuing to pay the timeshare. So let's say, Sam, who's frustrated and doesn't like her timeshare, and let's say you were so angry, you're like, I'm not going to, I don't want to pay them anymore. So I will never recommend someone to just stop paying their timeshare obligation or break their contract. We can get you out while you still continue paying, but some people can't afford it. I have a client whose husband had a stroke. They bought one, and then her husband had a stroke. They've never used it ever. They can't afford it. If you can't afford it, if you're so angry about the lies, we can protect you. If we're working with you, we can protect you. We can protect you from the damage to your credit. We can help with the disputes. disputing any negative reporting. And, we also have access to a credit repair company to fix it. But as part of our process, we demand that it be fixed. So there may be a temporary ding to your credit, but we'll get it cleaned up rather quickly.
That's awesome.
So if you have already stopped paying, or you want to stop paying, or you can't afford it, we can help you. We can still get it out. And I mean, to be honest with you, it does increase your negotiating position if you're not paying. And we can also help protect you. If you stop paying, the collection people will say, well, we're going to put a foreclosure on your record. Well, this isn't a house. It's a deed. They might try and do a deed in lieu of foreclosure, but if we're working with you and protecting you, we'll stop that from happening and get a negotiated exit. So I wanted to go over that part of it too.
Well, Dennis, we're just about out of time. 30-second commercial, and make sure to tell people how they can reach out to you at Timeshare Owners Justice.
So our website is timeshareownerjustice.com. We have a fill-in form just where you can put your basic information, with your name, your email, your phone number, and a couple sentences. And you can just say, heard Dennis, I'm interested in talking. And then someone will reach out to you, possibly me, myself. My phone number is 719-300-1181, but our main office number is on the website. And even if you don't know that you want to exit, or you want to hire a company to help you, check in with us anyway. We'll give you good advice. We're trying to help people. We want to spread good in the world. We want good karma. We want good vibes. We want to give people good advice, and so even if we're not a good fit, at least we can give you some information and point you in the right direction. The other thing I will say, since you guys are in Georgia, is go Ducks. I'm from Oregon originally. The Bulldogs. Maybe we'll see you guys in the playoff. The Bulldogs are good.
Awesome, man. Yeah. The Georgia and the Braves. Now we're praying for the Falcons.
Yeah.
In any case, it's been a pleasure having you on the Mind Your Business show. Lots of great information, and we definitely encourage people to share this with people so for their protection, for their information, and certainly for the service that Timeshare Owners Justice provides. We want to encourage everybody to go to privatemoneysyndicate.com, and because we want to power your dreams with private money, be it real estate or business. We've got the capital to make those things happen. And as Maestro said earlier, the 10,000 Dreams Challenge, folks, go to the website, go to the second item, and join the challenge. Great opportunities, great prizes for you, the great people who give us reason to be here every Saturday morning, me and the Maestro. So as I say every single week, thank you to Dennis. And if you're going to stay in business, if you're going to go in business and stay in business, you got to mind your business. And with that, Maestro, I'll let you take us on home.
Hey, and thank you, Dennis, so much for letting us know that you're out there and that people have help in this instance. And thank you, Tony, as always. Thank you all for joining us and for your support. And we appreciate you. And we're going to see you on the next one. All right. Y'all take care out there. Peace.
All right.